wasn't living the life I put in all this work. It was nothing, now it's given. All is painted, I was living in the books, and now it's written that I done did it. Just like Pop, we shake the room. Just like Sweet, go get the broom. My team's beast, we'll eat your food. Yeah. For the win, we put in work. On the top, came to dirt. The point done, they on the shirt. Yeah. When it come to this game, I've been the GOAT.
Hey guys, welcome to our first episode of Trackside Trouble. I'm Chase DeMarco from Mooresville, North Carolina. I am a racer myself, currently racing micros at my home track of Millbridge Speedway, but I've started racing across the country. On each episode, we'll meet other racers around the country, from karts to micros, dirt and asphalt racers. We'll also occasionally have some special appearances from drivers who we've made it in racing as a career to hear their stories as well. Today, our very first guest is my buddy Cash Money Cash Lacombe, joining us here from Texas. He's coming off a big win at the KKM show at US 24 this past weekend. So how about this weekend? You know, you dominated pretty much the whole week, and you basically clean sweeped. You won both nights. How you feel about it?
Yeah, man, coming off the 2024 KKM, it was pretty solid, and I didn't get enough to get it done every championship night, but I got me a prelim win, so I had a little boost of confidence coming in, and just it was cool. It's a super cool facility, and even cooler that I come from 20 hours away, pretty much, and coming from Texas in my hometown and being able to win with all my family watching from home and being able to get a clean sweep is pretty cool.
Yeah, as I heard, as of before the US 24 race, you told me that you were leading points. So, you know, what are you going to do? And are you going to try to win the points for the restricted now that you're in contention?
Yeah, occasionally we were just going to start off just one restricted race for this year because I didn't plan on racing restricted the full year until I took over a points lead, and we were just like, hey, we're doing pretty solid. We got a good lead. Let's just try and maybe finish out the year in a restricted, and then obviously run Tulsa in restricted. But being able to win a couple A-class races this year and being able to win some restricted races is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to go in and ask you some questions here. So, how old were you when you first started racing, and what did you start racing in?
Started racing about seven or eight, and back in 2018. I started off in a junior sprint back at my home track, Gulf Coast Speedway, and raced the junior sprint all the way until 2021, and then the start of 2022, started racing restricted a little bit, but yeah, that's what I started off in, a junior sprint in my hometown.
So, you basically raced the junior sprints for what, 3 years?
Yeah, three solid years, and just I wasn't enough to compete on a national level, or
Yeah.
I was just really a local hometown boy that I couldn't do anything at shootout or anything. Kind of just had like a 1989 junior sprint, but
Yeah, so who got you into racing? Your dad? Did you go to a dirt or a race or whatever it was?
well, my dad used to rodeo with one of his buddies, and we still are, but we're a big rodeo family. Kind of, we live in a fancy city, but we're a Western themed fancy, whatever you want to call it. But my dad used to rodeo, and my sister did FFA and all that good stuff in high school. And we had a buddy, and he was like, and my dad was at this rodeo, and he was like, "Hey man, I race these micro sprints," and his buddy raced a turf tire back at the hometown track, and he was just kind of like, "Hey, you want to come out and watch these turf tire or micro sprints that I race?" And my dad was like, "All right." So my dad went out there. He thought it was the coolest thing he's ever seen, so he bought himself a turf tire, started racing, and then after that, he bought me a junior sprint.
Yeah. So now that you've been racing for a while, how long did it take you to get your first win?
Whenever I raced junior sprints, it took me about four or five races to get a good
4 or 5.
get a solid win, and then I won pretty much almost every race after that. in a junior sprint. I had 1 year where I had a bad flip or something, and then
Mhm.
I don't know it. I think I got scared. I didn't win for
And
a
then
while,
you
but
you just took a break.
yeah, and then I started winning again, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So now that you're in the micros, when did you get your first micro win, and what did you think? Or when did you get first into the micro drive one, and then what did you think of it?
Well, while I was racing junior sprints, we bought a D1, and I raced a D1 locally. Then we went on the national tour in 2023, the Now 600 National Open Wheel 600 Series. I wasn't the brightest. I would say I sucked. I won about one race. I just what very good. And then now, obviously, I'm in a hyper, and I don't know. I feel like I've improved so much with the hyper team, Mike Dicey, all them. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't the car, it was me. I just wasn't a good driver back then. But being with Mike Dicey and Frank Flood and all them is just a big blessing to me, and it's helped me a lot in my dream to become a career.
Yes, you said you won a lot of races in the junior sprints. Did you ever win a championship at your home track?
I won the Lone Star 600 something in a junior sprint, and I got to go to the big Power Eye banquet and all that with all like the midget drivers. It was pretty cool.
Nice. What year did you win it in?
2021, pretty
2021.
yeah.
So, what helped you, change to, just progress in the micro and help get better?
Well, I started off with the team BSI Racing in 2023, 2022. Then obviously now I've come along with Matt Carr and Frank Flood, and I feel like I've improved more than I ever have. And now obviously I can win A class. I've proved that I can win an A class race. I feel like, and I'm getting along to where I can win some races, and just I've come from finishing solid in eighth or seventh or eighth or ninth
Mm.
or maybe even a sixth place, and now my goal every time I show up is either to win, if not finish top three, and if that's just kind of that's what's the word? I don't know the word, but that's just kind of what I feel like I need to do to whenever I
Yeah.
show up, knowing that I can do it. But it's racing. That stuff will happen, and that's just I keep my head down anytime I do bad or anytime I don't feel like I did good. But obviously, I'm starting to do good in my dream.
So, how long did it take you to get your first micro win, and how many wins do you have in it since?
It took me about probably 4 races, and I won this local show in Louisiana with
Mhm.
3 cars or something like that. But I won that, and then 2 weeks later, I won a pretty good show with a couple hard hitters from down here. But
Mm.
it was just about 15 cars down a local show. I won that, and then I started winning locally. And I won a couple other races around here, and then I've won 8 races this year, or something like that. Pretty much
Wow.
four, 3 A class races, a couple top threes in A class, a couple top fives, a DNF, but 5 or something restricted wins this year. And last year I had eight restricted wins, and then the year before that was like 1 win with
So
the
you
Now
have
600.
like close to 20 wins in the micro, something like that.
Probably.
So have you ever had a big crash in the micro yet?
Yeah, I had a pretty gnarly one in 2023, but I don't like I don't want to say I haven't had a big ride since, just because I don't want to talk about something and then it happened. But I had a
Yes.
pretty gnarly one back in 2023 and haven't had a terrible flip since. But hopefully it doesn't happen.
So so did you like get scared after that? Because you said when you wrecked in the junior sprint, like you kind of took a break. Did you just get back in and like a week or whatever your next race was and still had the same confidence?
Yeah, I won or I flipped during a Speedway. It was the first night of Sooner 600 week in 2023, and I had a pretty gnarly ride. But I didn't do worth a dang the rest of the week. But I did. I told my
It froze.
try not to have those moments.
Oh, it kind of froze there for a second. What'd you say again?
It After my flip, I just like I said in the junior, I lost all confidence. But I try not to do that now. I try to just get back in the car and drive it as hard as I did the night before.
So you know how your car owner is Frank Flood, and talk about how big he is in micro racing, and now that he's your car owner.
Yeah, man, he's one of the greatest to do it in our sport, and it's pretty cool being on a team with Frank. And Matt helps me a lot, and Frank's got his own development. Matt's got like they're just a team, and I'm mostly with Matt. Frank has his people, but Frank also helps me a lot, and he's just Frank and Matt have helped me a lot from where I've come, and it's a big blessing to be with two guys that are some of the best to do it in the sport we do. So it's pretty cool having Matt in my ear, Frank in my ear. Anything I do in staging, they let me know what's happening with the track, and it's pretty cool to have those guys.
Yeah. So how has Matt and Frank helped you get better as a driver?
Whenever I came along with Frank and Matt, I knew how to drive, but I was kind of just like over my head a lot. Matt has taught me to calm down, and if something happens, still keep my composure, and not freak out or anything. But I used to be bad with if I did something, I would start driving over my head, which it still happens every now and then. But he's just taught me to stay calm, don't drive over my head, and just and Frank and them, they just I don't know, they gave me a good car, and they just tell me go drive the wheels off of it.
Yeah. So now that you've gotten real good in the micros, what would you like to race after you get in the micros? Like your next step in the racing, like outlaw, sprint cars, or like what are you hoping to race in the future?
I'll take any opportunity I get, to be honest, but a sprint car or a midget, I won't. I don't think I would pay to drive a midget just because I don't know. I feel like they're the most dangerous thing you can do, to be honest. But a sprint car, that's mostly what I would like to do after this. But we're gonna run some outlaw shows next year. Just stay in the micro a little bit more next year and run some big shows, every big show there is, and then maybe entertain a sprint car a little bit next year at 305 or 360, and hopefully it'll build up from there.
Hmm. So what else are you into, like outside of racing off the track?
Uh, I like to fish a lot. I fish about every day, 5 times a week, just out on the water on my boat, and or I'm riding around on my bike, on my dirt bike with my buddies, or we're fishing around ponds or making jumps, just doing all that stuff.
Yeah. So do you have any siblings or brothers or sisters?
I have two older sisters right now, and I have a niece and nephew, and one of my sisters is married with 2 kids, and she's fighting through breast cancer right now and all that. But yeah, 2 sisters.
All right. So if you couldn't race, what would you want to do to grow up when you grow up?
Uh, Racing is mostly plan A for me. If I don't make it in racing, I'll probably be. My dad owns a crane company, so I'd obviously probably take over that, which I still will most likely take over the crane company whenever he retires or something, which I'll take it over. But either that or I'd want to be a professional fisherman or something.
All right. Well, congrats on your win. It was nice having you on the show today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody for watching. for our first episode of Trackside Trouble. And we'll see you guys all in the next one. See ya.
See ya.
Toast and chill like 10 dancing. Pop champagne reminiscing on the road that we just ridden. I just pursued me some ice cause my presence had to give it. I had to separate myself cause these cappers wasn't living the life I put in all this work. It was